Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees in the Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call of Chaitanya Charitamrita class. Today's class will be given by Her Grace Kirtida Sundai Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for taking this class and giving us this wonderful association and enlightening on this topic of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. I now hand over the call to you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shama Supriya Mataji, for your warm welcome, wonderful chanting. And thank you, everyone who has joined us today in this mid-morning session of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, so we'll start. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, entitled The Residents of Varanasi Became Vaishnavas. And today we'll start with text number 119. Rate ratham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyadatmano mayam yata bhasho yata tamam. Translation: what appears to be truth without me is certainly my illusionary energy, for nothing can exist without me. It is like a reflection of a real light in the shadows, for in the light there are neither shadows nor reflections. This purport, this is the quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, verse number 34. It is the second verse of the Catursloki, and for an explanation for this verse, see Adi Lila, Chapter 1, text number 54. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Thapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Chari Swami Niti Namane. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. So in the discussion of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita today, I request you to please shower your heartfelt blessings and prayers so that I may speak something relevant and which is to the topic as explained by Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, by Sri Sukadev Goswami, and of course by our dear Srila Prabhupada. And also, whatever I may speak may be in the glorification of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and of course in purification of my own self. I humbly bow down to each and every one of you. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu vaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. So, we all know the context of what we are reading and on which, in which context we are in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The chapter entitled is The Residents of Varanasi Became Vaishnava. We all know how Prakashanand Saraswati, the Mayavadi leader at that time, how he recognized the position of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and considering him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he went to the temple of Bindu Madhava and finally bowed down to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving his all instructions to Prakashananda Saraswati. So we are in the section that now Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is telling that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting the Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam. The Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam, what it is actually, and why it is known as Catursloki, what are all those verses, so that we'll read and that we'll try to understand. So the verse that I read today is the second verse of the Catursloki of Srimad Bhagavatam. I have read that verse, but unfortunately we'll see if we'll get time, then we'll touch base upon it. Otherwise, in the next session, we will see the second verse. So, with the consent of Preeti Vilasini Mataji, it's been decided that I'll be covering all the 4 verses, this Catursloki of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the coming sessions, by all of your blessings and all of your mercy and all of your prayers. So, to understand what this Catursloki Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam is, and why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting this and is explaining all these Catursloki Bhagavatam to Prakashananda Saraswati, and what's so important that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is also narrating it and quoting in his book of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So to understand, first we have to understand that, see, the Vedic literature, the Vedic scriptures, they are so vast, right? So it's very difficult to read each and everything and to understand each and every part of the Veda. So our acharyas, time and time again, they try to condense the essence of scriptures in certain statements. And when they condensed into certain statements or certain verses, they are known as the key verses or the essence of that particular kind of scripture. Like, for example, we all know there is a Catursloki Bhagavad-gita, which starts with chapter 10, which is the opulence of the Absolute. In this chapter of Vibhuti Yoga, there is the verse that is from 10th chapter, verse 8, 9, 10, 11. These 4 verses are known as the Catursloki Bhagavad-gita. Right? And it starts with Aham Sarvasya Prabho Mata Sarvam Pravartate. So this is what Krishna is saying. Now we have to understand that why these certain kind of verses are considered to be the essence, or why it is so significant. So to understand this, we have to understand that what is the context and what is the content in which these verses are so important, are considered to be so significant. So context is like what these 4 verses narrate or what these 4 verses describe. And this is the content. And the context is that where they are placed in a particular kind of a scripture. Now let's take first of all the Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna starts with Aham Sarvasya Prabho Mata Sarvam Pravartate, and then he goes on to Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam, right? So, and Matchitta Matkata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Tesham Satata Yuktanam. So all these verses, that is 8, 9, 10 and 11, Immediately after when Krishna spoke these verses, Arjun came on to one conclusion. Immediately after these 4 verses. And what was his conclusion? Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. So he said that, "Oh Krishna, you are the supreme absolute truth. And now I accept you. Param Brahma, Param Dhama. You are the supreme. Your abode is supreme. Everything about you is supreme, is so absolute." So the context is that immediately when Krishna describes a certain verses, Arjuna surrenders after hearing that. Right? So Krishna speaks something very confidential, knowledge, and then Arjuna comes on to the conclusion that yes, now I am enlightened. So the context here is that denotes that whatever is spoken in between is very important. That is why those sets of verses are considered to be the significant verses of that scriptures. Right? So even, for Srimad Bhagavatam also, there are 4 verses which are considered to be the most significant in the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam. And these 4 verses are known as to be the Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam. And in these 4 verses, the knowledge of Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojana aspect is encapsulated. Now let's see, yesterday we covered quite a few verses. So we started with text 108, which is a very important verse, right? Where Mahaprabhu is saying, Lord Krishna assured Lord Brahma that by my mercy, all these things will be awakened in you. And saying this, the Lord began to explain the 3 truths or the 3 tattvas to Lord Brahma. Now, what are these 3 truths and what are these 3 tattvas that Krishna is trying to explain to Lord Brahma? So this 3 tattva that Krishna is trying is what we call as Sambandha Gyan, Abhidaya Gyan and Prayojana Gyan. Or we can say Sambandha Tattva, Abhidaya Tattva or Prayojana Tattva. So these 3 tattvas are encapsulated in the 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, which are known as the Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So now if we see the verse in Bhagavatam, where Krishna starts with this, he says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Jnanam Paramam Guhyam Me, Yad Vijnanam Samanvitam, Sahasram Tad Angam Cha, Grahana Gaditam Maya. So what he is saying, Jnanam Paramam Guhyam. This is the most confidential knowledge, O Brahma, that I am going to reveal it to you. So that means he is giving the Sambandha Gyan, the Sambandha Tattva, Sambandha Gyan. Next he is saying Tad Vijnana Samanvitam. And that will be coordinated with the Vijnana. Vijnana means some realization. So this is Sambandha Vijnan. Then the 3rd verse, he will tell about Saharsa Rahasyam. Sa Rahasyam means it's extremely confidential. And what we know that what is extremely confidential is prema, right? That is what the Prayojana Tattva he'll tell in the 3rd verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, of the Catursloki. And the 4th is, he's saying Tad Angam Cha. And last line says Grahana Gaditam Maya. Just try to take it up as explained by me. Tad Angam. Angam means a limb. And what is that limb through which we can get this prema or the absolute prayojana is bhakti. So the devotional service that will be described in the 4th verse of Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is just the context. We try to understand that the first verse, through first verse of Catursloki, we'll try to understand the absolute truth. Through second verse, we'll try to understand Maya, his illusionary energy. The third verse, we'll understand his external energy, that is his material nature. And through fourth verse, we'll try to understand what the human intelligence is and how through human intelligence we can attain the ultimate love of Godhead. So this is what Catursloki is. But to understand again the context that why and how those Catursloki were placed in Srimad Bhagavatam, to this, we have to understand that, see, Srimad Bhagavatam, we all know that when we start reading, it's quite confusing. Even when I started reading, I was quite confused. The first time when we pick up Srimad Bhagavatam, it's pretty confusing because there is so many narrations going on. Narrations between Narad Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj, between Maitreya Muni and Uddhava, between Vidura and Maitreya Muni, and so on and so forth. There are so many, concentric circles like kind of thing, the various narrations are being going on. But the outermost is, we all know that Srimad Bhagavatam was basically what we read was spoken by Suta Goswami to the sages of Naimisharanya, which was headed by Shaunaka Rishi. And the next layer through which Srimad Bhagavatam is basically known for is a conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. So we all know this, right? And Sukadeva Goswami, he started speaking from the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The whole first canto, Sukadeva Goswami didn't speak at all. Right? So it's only from the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that Srila Sukadeva Goswami started speaking. So we all know that Srimad Bhagavatam is a transcendental subject matter, but still we have to take it in this way that Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are a description of just one day of Brahma. And we all know that one day of Brahma is pretty long. It consists of 1,000 Divya Yugas. And one Divya Yuga is one Satya Yuga, one Dwapar Yuga, one Treta Yuga, and one Kali Yuga, in which there are 14 Manus, and out of which we are presently having the 7th Manu, 7 more to come, right? So this whole Srimad Bhagavatam is just the description of one day of Brahma. So, and the whole Srimad Bhagavatam consists of how and what all significant events that happened in the day of Brahma. And that is what is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's start from the beginning that Brahmaji is born now, and he found himself on the lotus flower and he was in total darkness, both literally and metaphysically. He was in total darkness. It was really, there was no light. It was total darkness. And metaphysically also it was darkness because he doesn't know that who he was, for what purpose he was there on the lotus flower, and now what he has to do. He doesn't know anything. So all he know that, he was trying up and down, going on to the lotus stem, finding his route, that from where he is there. But ultimately, he came back onto the lotus flower, and then he heard the word tapa, 2 words, tapa, and then he started doing his austerities. And Lord was very pleased with his austerities, and then he came in front of him. Actually, Shukdev Goswami in Bhagavatam says that basically the Lord came and shook hands with Brahma. But anyways, Lord Krishna himself personally, he came and appeared in front of him. And then Brahmaji started offering his prayers to the Supreme Lord. And towards the end, towards the conclusion of his prayers, Brahmaji asked 4 questions from the Lord. And what are those 4 questions? Please hear little attentively. So the first question that Brahmaji asked was, my dear Lord, You are transcendental. So how could you manifest in the form that is visible to my eyes? That was his first question. The next question he asked, oh my Lord, how do you manifest all different energies by which creation takes place? The third question he asked, oh my Lord, how do you play with all your different energies? And last and the foremost question that every one of us also has, that, oh my Lord, how can I act in a way in this material world by which I can be the instrument in your will? And at the same time, while acting in this world for your service, I avoid being proud. So these are the four questions, and they are quoted as the 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam prior to the Catursloki Bhagavatam. So these are the 4 questions that Brahmaji asked. And for the reference, it is verse number 26, 27, 28, and 29 of the 2nd canto, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So 26, 27, 28, 29 of the 2nd canto, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam are the 4 questions that were asked by Brahmaji. And then the Lord, that is Krishna, who appeared in front of Brahma, started answering these questions. And he answered actually in 7 verses. And that's why in Pushti Marg, which is being established by Vallabhacharya, they refer as a Saptashloki Srimad Bhagavatam, because the answer that was given by the Supreme Lord to all these 4 questions of Brahma were in the 7 verses. So Vallabhacharya refers to as a Saptashloki Srimad Bhagavatam. But Gaudiya Vaishnava, headed by Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they refer to as Catursloki Bhagavatam. Why? Because they said that the 4 main shlokas in which the Lord answers all the 4 questions of Brahma, in which the real philosophical conclusions are, they are only in 4 verses. The rest of the earlier 3 verses are just the building up the narration by the Lord himself. So it doesn't have the full philosophical conclusion. But the later 4 verses has the full philosophical conclusions, and so that's why they are known as Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam. So now we got that context that in which why these 4 verses were spoken. So Brahmaji was there, he was born, he was there on the lotus flower, he was not able to find, he was totally in darkness, and then he did austerities. Lord appeared and he asked 4 questions from the Lord, and Lord answered those 4 questions in 4 verses, and those 4 verses are the key verses which are known as the Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam, because these are the original 4 verses that were spoken by the Lord himself. Right? Now, just on a side note, if we try to compare our life with Lord Brahma, then we see that it's kind of a mirror image. Why? Because we are also born in the same darkness, in the same ignorance. And we too are meant to become enlightened. That's what the human form of life is. And how we become enlightened? By coming in contact with our Guru Vargas in disciplic succession. And only after that, when we get enlightened by coming and with in the contact of a pure devotee of Guru Vargas, when we become enlightened, then only we can become an instrument in Lord's will. And that's what Brahma is asking. His last question is very important. He said, what is the purpose of me in this material world? What do you want me to do, Lord? And how can I become the instrument in your free will? The will that you have, how can I be the instrument in that will? How can I be a nimit matram? Right? And at the same time, Hare Krishna, can I request to please mute? Okay, thank you so much. So then the last part is very important, where he says, yes, I want to become a nimit matram. I want to become an instrument. But at the same time, while acting in this world for your service, I do not become proud. That's how we can compare our life, the life of a jiva, to Lord Brahma, seeing the mirror image that we all are born in darkness. We all want to become enlightened. And once connect to a disciplic succession, the acharyas, the guru vargas, how we can also become an instrument in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. And while doing service, don't get puffed up with all those services, that it's me who is doing it. That mood should be avoided. So this is the context that I just try to frame about what the Chaturslokis are, and now what is this Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam is. So we'll go with the first verse of Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam, which is mentioned by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in text number 113 of chapter 25. And it is also the verse number 33 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, verse number 33. So basically, Canto 2, Chapter 9, verse number 33, 34, 35, and 36, they are the Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam. Just for the reference, I want to say. So Canto 2, Chapter 9, verse number 33. Or if we are on Chaitanya Charitamrita, then a text number 113. Aham eva sham evagre nanyad yad sad asat param paschat aham yat etascha yovashishyata so asmi aham. Prior to the cosmic manifestation, only I exist and no phenomena exist, either gross, subtle, or primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything, and after annihilation, only I remain eternally. I'll read the translation from Srimad Bhagavatam also, though it's just the same but a little more deeper. The translation in Srimad Bhagavatam to this verse says that Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was there any material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. So this is what the translation of this verse says. Now we should note very carefully that the personality of Godhead is addressing Lord Brahma, pointing out that he is the original personality of Godhead who existed before the creation, and it is he who maintains the creation, and it is he who remains after the creation. And Brahma is also the creation of the Supreme Lord. So this is what Krishna is trying to explain to Brahma, that it was he who was there before creation, while maintaining the creation, and after, when the creation will be annihilated, then also it is he who will be there in this whole creation. He will be the one. And Brahma is also his creation, means he was born from the Supreme Lord. Now, this verse, it looks so simple, right? That, yeah, we all know that the Supreme Lord, he's Anadi, he's Ananta, and he has no beginning, no end. But, while studying for this verse, I've seen that so many devotees have given seminars of seminars. It's not just a one class. It's not a 1 hour class that is being given on this particular verse. It's being various seminars given on just this one verse. Just this one verse. So it has so many deep meanings. But today we'll try to consolidate everything and try to cover up in this hour session. So we'll see the various context, the various aspects of what this word basically means and what it means when Krishna says that it's I who was present there before, now and after. And basically this verse is also used in refuting various Mayavadi theories. So we'll see only in light of that how various Mayavadi theories are being refuted by just this single verse, how significant this verse is. So the first aspect we'll see that how impersonalist theory is that both Brahma or quote unquote Jivas and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are same. That's what the first argument of impersonalist is, right? That there is no difference between Jiva and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's Jiva, when they leave this world, they also become God, right? So they both are I, the capital I, the letter I, right? And Brahma is just an emanation from that capital I, the absolute truth. But our acharyas, they try to explain that yes, both are I, this alphabet I, but there is a difference between the I. One is the capital alphabet I, and the other is a small I alphabet, right? Hope you are getting. One is the capital I, and another is a small I. So the capital I is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the predominator. And rest all we jivas, including Brahma, we are all the small I's. Right? So though we both means both we jivas and the Supreme Lord. Both are eternal and both are conscious. Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetananam. Both are conscious and both are eternal. But still, there is a difference between both the two I's. The one which is the capital I is the creator. And all other I's are being created, including Lord Brahma and all the other beings that are being created by Brahma. They are all small I's. And that is what the philosophy which is propounded by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is that? Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Tattva means truth. Achintya means which is inconceivable. It's so difficult to understand. It's really inconceivable. And Bheda means difference, and Abheda means simultaneously one. So both are the alphabet I. Right? They both are simultaneously one. The Jiva and the Ishvara, they are eternal and they are conscious. But still there is a difference. One is the controller, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the controller, the predominator. And rest all Jivas, included Lord Brahma, we all are predominated or being controlled by the Supreme Controller. He is the main proprietor. So this is the truth which describes that we Jivas are different and simultaneously one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what is Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Like yesterday also, Mataji was given an example that how a green parrot when enters into a green tree, right? But still the green parrot doesn't lose its individuality. The green parrot, though it looks like merging into the green tree, but still the green parrot has its own nest, has its own she parrot and the baby parrots. The whole family is there in that green tree. So it looks like it has merged into that green tree, but still the individuality of the parrot and the tree are two different things. And at the same time, the parrot may leave the tree. Right? So it's both while going and while coming. But still the individual parrot is individual parrot and the tree is different. So that is what is Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Yes, we are qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have all the qualities. The qualities we see in this material world are coming nowhere except from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No matter whatever it is. the loving affection of the mom, of the parents here in this material world is coming from the loving affections of Mother Yashoda and Nand Baba from the spiritual world. It's the same affection, right? It's the same mood that is being brought here. But again, there is a difference, right? So qualitatively we may be one, but quantitatively there is a huge difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and we Jivas. We Jivas are the minute controllers. We are Ishwaras in a minute sense, but Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate controller, is the ultimate Ishwar. Right. This was the first aspect to understand from this first verse of Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam. The next part, the next aspect to understand from this single word is that how Mayavadi's theory is that if they don't want to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, because they think that if they'll surrender unto the divine will, they lose their own free will. They lose their own individuality. But on contrast, the Acharyas explain that the truth is that to understand is that our human will, the free will that we have, is basically founded and perfected in the divine will. It's not that we lose, that Mayavadis think that if we surrender unto the Lord, we lose our free will. That's not the case. Rather, it's just the opposite. We have to think that our free will is basically given to us by Krishna himself. So our free will is founded in the divine will of the Lord. And at the same time, it is also fulfilled by the divine love, by the divine free will only. How? We'll see now. See, it's only by Krishna's grace that we have this free will. Why? Because Krishna wants the reciprocation of our love. It's not that he is taking a stick in his hand, he's saying, oh no, you have to surrender unto me. And if you'll not surrender unto me, you'll get beaten up. That's not the mood. If that's the case, then he would have made all of us inert. But he doesn't want that. He wants that if you all are surrendering unto him, then you should do it with love, with some reciprocation. And that's why he gave us the free will. That with your will, with your full dedication, fixing your mind unto my lotus feet, you have to surrender unto me. That's what Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraj. And if you do that Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishyami Mashicha, I will deliver you. I'll remove all your sinful reactions. You do not fear. But you have to surrender unto me. Abandon all kind of religions, so-called religions, and just surrender unto me. And if you do so, then I'll reciprocate. So this is what Krishna says. Now, that's why, he doesn't want us to be, and that's why he gave us the free will. So that with our free will, we surrender Lord.
Mataji, voice is fading.
Yeah, I know my AirPods have lost their battery. Hopefully, I'll take the phone in my hand and speak. Okay. So, he says that, yes, so it's been granted, it's been given to us, the free will is given to us by Krishna, by the divine will. Right. And now, we'll see that how it is also fulfilled and perfected also by the divine will. So for that, we'll see an example. See, if there is a loving relationship between two people, at that time, it is for the pleasure of the lover that a person wants to do everything for the beloved. So when we love someone, we want to please that person. And to please that person, we willingly and happily do whatever that person wants. At that time, we don't bring our wants or our needs in the picture. We just do whatever the other person likes. So that is what is surrendering means. Surrendering our own will. So in this material world, we are very hesitant to surrender onto our boss. Why? With the fear of being exploited by them, with the fear of losing our free will. But Krishna is omnibenevolent. He is externally merciful. So when we surrender ourselves or we surrender our free will to Krishna and work as his desire, then we actually bring best from our own self. When we surrendered onto his desire that, yes, Krishna, I really want to surrender unto you and I surrender my free will unto you. I want you only to please execute the way you want my life. You become the charioteer of the chariot life that I have. You become the ultimate charioteer and you please draw the horses the way you want to do it. If we surrender like this, then our best will come out. Arjuna's best came out in the war of Kurukshetra only why? Because Krishna was present as a Sarathi, as a charioteer on the chariot. Otherwise, it was impossible for the Pandavas to win over the battle. Right? So we don't have to give up our individuality. Rather, by giving up our free will onto Krishna, we realize our real spirituality. We realize our Swarup Siddhi, who we are in the spiritual world. Why? How? Just by surrendering our free will. Not bringing our thing in the picture, but just working for Krishna. That is what is Nimitt Matram, becoming an instrument as per Krishna's will. So surrendering unto Krishna is not just giving up your free will, is rather perfecting your free will. That's why this verse is being explained by Srila Prabhupada, that our free will is founded, fulfilled and perfected by the divine will. That's what the second aspect comes forward in this verse, how the Mayavadi theory gets refuted when they think that if they surrender, they will lose their free will. No, we don't lose our free will, rather we perfect our free will if we surrender unto the Supreme Lord. Right. Now we'll see the third aspect. Some impersonalists say that if they agree that yes, God and Jivas are two different identities, then who created God? This question often gets asked in the Mayavadi theory, that then who created God? And to this, we have to understand that if they ask, or if anyone asks this question, then this definition of God is not clear to them. Because God is the one who cannot be created. Right? So if they say that who created your God, that itself is an incorrect question. That itself is a wrong question. Now, for example, if someone asks you, can you make a square circle? What you will say? Will it be possible? No, it won't be possible. You cannot make a square circle. It's impossible. This indicates that the question itself is wrong. It's confusing. Why? And the person who is asking is totally confused because that person doesn't know the properties, the qualities, the definition of a square and a circle. You cannot make a square circle. Circle is a circle and square is a square. There is a different definition of a square and there is a different definition of a circle. So how can a circle be a square? Right. So similarly, if someone says who created God, it itself is a wrong and incoherent question. Why? Because they doesn't know, because that question doesn't make sense. Because God is the cause of all causes. It's God who creates. It's not that God is being created. He is the cause of all causes. And that's why he says it to Brahma, that it's I who was present in the past, who is present now, and it's I who will be there in future too. Why Krishna is putting up this? He means to say that it's only me who was there, ever there, ever there. It's not that someone created me. No one can create God. God is the cause of all causes. Right. Now the fourth aspect that we have to understand from this verse, that impersonalist says that the kingdom of God is void. They say when Krishna comes here and perform his Rasa Lila, the Vrindavan there is empty. Or when Narayan comes and then the Vaikuntha is empty. Right. So in that case also, from this verse only, this has been refuted. So actually, our Acharya says that we have to understand that the Vaikuntha planets are full of transcendental variegatedness. We all have been reading by Srimad Brihad Bhagavatamrita that how Gop Kumara, when he went to Vaikuntha Loka, he saw so much variety there. It's full of variegatedness. How one can say that, and the kingdom of God is void? No, we cannot say that. There are some scriptural reference that shows that there is so much variegatedness even in the spiritual world, in Vaikuntha Lok, in Ayodhya Dham, so on and so forth. Right? So therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists before the creation, exists with all the transcendental variegatedness in all the lokas, that is Vaikuntha Loka, or Ayodhya Loka, or Mathura, or Dwarka, or even in Golok Vrindavan. So those transcendental planets are of a different nature altogether. And that nature cannot be subjected to the rules and regulations that we have in this material nature. In this material nature, we do have some rules and regulations. But those, the Vaikuntha Lokas, they are not subjected to such rules and regulations. So again, it's inconceivable. But for impersonalists, they think, oh, there is some make-up, fake-up stories of, the various dham because it's only the light that is prevalent. No, the light doesn't have the pastime. The light doesn't have a form. The light doesn't have a quality. Right. So this is how this aspect has also been explained. The last aspect that we'll try to understand from this verse itself, it's all from the purport of Srila Prabhupada. So the impersonalists, they say that there is no activity in the Supreme. But in this discussion between Brahma and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord is said to have activities also. He has his form, he has his quality, he has his pastimes. The activities of Brahma and the other demigods during the maintenance of creation are to be understood as the activities of the Lord. For example, the king or the head or the executive of a state may not be seen in the government office often. He may be somewhere in his royal comfort engaged with his own family. But still, it has to be understood that everything is being done under his direction and under his command only. Though he may not be present, the king or the executive head may not be present in the government office. He may be at home enjoying his time with his family members. But still, all those government offices are working under his direction, under his command. So similarly, though the Supreme Personality of Godhead may not be visible in his personal form to some less intelligent so-called Mudha people, but still it cannot be considered that the God is formless. The God has a form. He has eternal form in his Vaikuntha Loka. And all the other planets of this universe is where he is doing his different incarnations. The example of a sun also Prabhupada gives. Then the sun in the night may not be visible to the eyes of men. But that doesn't mean that sun is not existing anymore. The sun is visible maybe to the other side. But still the sun is there. It remains the same. If it's not visible to us, that doesn't mean that the sun has no form. It has the form. So the Lord's impersonal feature is also being refuted in this verse. Because though the Lord may not be appear to us to this material eyes, or we cannot perceive the Lord, but that doesn't bring up to the conclusion that there is no God. One has to spiritualize one's senses before one can realize, expect, see or perceive the Supreme Lord. We have to spiritualize our senses. God is not so cheap that he can just roam around here and there for us. No, we have to spiritualize ourselves, our senses, so that we can perceive the form of God. God is there. There is no other cause of all causes other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the original cause of all causes. And therefore, as per this Brahma Vadva Gaudiya Sampradaya, which is being, this knowledge being narrated to Brahma, and then from Brahmaji to Narada to Vyasadeva, etc. We have to make it a point to realize the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, in this disciplic succession. Even the demigods like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, all these, they may be some personality of Godhead, but they are not the supreme personality of Godhead. They may be the root because they have some jurisdiction of their own through which they can control. They are the Ishwaras. But the root of all of them is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. And one should be attached to the root of everything rather than bewildered by the branches and leaves. This example is being 100 times quoted by Srila Prabhupada, that please water the roots, because if you water the roots, then definitely the plant will be nourished. If you focus only on the leaves, branches, fruits and flowers, then the plant will die one day. So to nourish the plant, you have to water the roots. And to water the roots means to understand the supremacy of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. And understanding in this light that yes, those demigods are also not the ordinary, living entity or mere mortal souls like us. No, they are not. They have the particular kind of position. But to understand that they are also bound with the direction or the command of the Supreme Lord. They are not free. Hiranyakashipu asked Lord Brahma to make him immortal. What Lord Brahma said, even I am not immortal. How can I make you immortal? Right? So that's their position. They can benedict only under their jurisdiction. Whatever they have been given by the Supreme Lord, they cannot go beyond it. So this verse also gives this concept of understanding that how we have to focus on just watering the roots. And watering the roots means to understand the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in the light of various acharyas that has been given on this particular verse, we can say we have seen basically in various ways. But now, as per Srila Jiva Goswami, this verse gives the gyan or the knowledge through which we can understand the Lord's personal form, the Sambandha Gyan, which is much more confidential than understanding the impersonal form of the Lord. Then as per Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, this verse gives the basis of understanding one's relationship with the Lord. What is our Sambandha with the Lord? And as per Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this verse explains the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva that we already covered. And as per our dear Srila Prabhupada, this verse stresses on the personal form of the Lord by refuting all the theories, the concocted theories of impersonalists, that is Mayavad. So, thank you all so much. We'll stop here. This is just the first verse of the Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Canto 2, Chapter 9, verse number 33 that we covered. In our next class, we'll cover the next shloka of Catursloki, that is 2.9.34. And in the consequent classes, we'll do this whole seminar of covering up these Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam, so that we can have the detailed knowledge that how these verses are so important. And these verses are being quoted by impersonalists also, and how they concoct the meaning of such verses and make it that, oh, God is impersonal. But if we have the enough knowledge which is being imparted to us by the Srila Prabhupada and our present Guru Vargas, then, we can definitely have a strong evidence saying that no, God is personal, and here is the quotations. We can literally quote if we know the essence of these four verses, and that's why these four verses are so significant and being categorized as Catursloki Srimad Bhagavatam. The essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is in these four verses. So thank you all so much for patiently tolerating me. So we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Kirtida Sundai Mataji, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for such such an excellent class. I never imagined it could be so much depth to the verse. You covered it in great detail, touching on the most important points and explaining them very nicely, the different facets of this one verse. Very beautifully done, Mataji. Thank you very much. I regret I didn't take down notes, but I have to do it because it was so well structured. Thank you so much. I don't have any questions, but I was just thinking of all the points that you said. It was excellent. Yes, next time onwards, I really want to take down notes for this. This was excellent presentation. Thank you for doing this series. Very, very grateful to you, Mataji. Thank you. Explaining the Sambandha in great detail. It was very good, Mataji. Very, very nice about the Lord's individuality and how the Achintya Veda is also included in it. Spiritual world. Every single point that you mentioned was so relevant. Thank you so much. Very, very indebted to you for this.
Thank you so much, Preeti Lakshmi Mataji. It's nothing mine, but it's all there in Srila Prabhupada's purport. So if you read it, you'll get to make all kind of notes. I've just summarized his purpose. And yes, your instructions of doing this always comes with the empowerment. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories, Mataji. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. As Preeti Vilasini Mataji was saying, we don't understand the depth of it unless we actually sit down and I love the way you went through each part of it and explained it so nicely. As you were speaking about Brahma, I was reading the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam recently, and something had struck kind of like reinforced what you had said. So I thought I'd read it. It was in the purports of, it's Canto 5, Chapter 2, and it's verse 3 of this, and it's the stories of, it's about Agnidra, the activities of Maharaja Agnidra, and it says in here, there's this point in here where Lord Brahma is addressed as Bhagavan. And so Srila Prabhupada makes a very, very nice point. This clarifies why he's called Bhagavan. And I thought it was wonderful. He says, in this verse, however, we see that Lord Brahma is described as Bhagavan Adi Purushaha. The reason he is called Bhagavan is that he fully represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is the firstborn creature in this universe. Lord Brahma could understand Maharaja Agnidra's desire because he is as powerful as Lord Vishnu. As Lord Vishnu, situated as Paramatma, can understand the desire of the living entity, so Lord Brahma can also understand the living entity's desire, for Vishnu, as a via medium, informs him. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, Tene Brahma Hruda Adi Kaviye, Lord Vishnu informs Lord Brahma of everything from within his heart. So I thought that was just such a perfect explanation and reiterating the same thing you said, that he is just not say subservient, but a servant of the Lord performing his duty, and the Supreme Lord Krishna is the Supreme God. Thank you, Mataji. I hope that was okay.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you so much, Manishwari Mataji, from quoting this 5th canto, especially this reference from Agnidhara last time. That yes, even I remember that how Prabhupada mentions that sometimes Brahma or Indra or even Narada Muni, they have been quoted as Bhagavan in Srimad Bhagavatam. But thank you for bringing up that point.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. So you were talking about giving our free will to Krishna, and by giving our free will to Krishna, something best will always come up to us. And you also mentioned that Krishna become the charioteer of our life, so that we all work under his will. And for that, I was just thinking about this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.2, 27.24. That is something. It was spoken by, the question was asked by Devahuti, and his son Kapila was answering to his mom, saying that when one is actually situated in devotional service, that is his independent position. Less intelligent men cannot understand the position of external servant of the Lord, because the word servant used, they become confused. They can't understand that this servitude is not servitude of the material world. To be the servant of the Lord is the greatest position. If one can understand this and can thus revive one's original nature of eternal relationship of the Lord, one stands fully independent. A living entity's independence is lost by material contact. In spiritual field, he has full independence, and therefore there is no question of becoming depending upon the three modes of material nature. So I thought that that concept of free will and the concept of attitude of servitude fits well, and that's why I brought this analogy, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Yes, Mataji, perfect. That's why, we always say that we are the loyal dogs of Srila Prabhupada. Ami tomhara kukur. Right? That's what it is. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundai Mataji, Koti Dandavat Pranam. Very active in class, Mataji. Day by day, Mataji, learning so many things from all Vaishnava. And yesterday, Amendra Prabhuji is given a class that, with your permission, adding that presentation, you are hearing class, but your mind is going somewhere else. That's not going to work. And also, explain. Amita Prabhuji is asking question to Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He is a senior brahmachari of Shri Radha Gopinath. That Prabhuji, why are you not married? Because you are not able to walk, so you are not able to send Srila Prabhupada message to preach all over the world. It is going very difficult. So Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji is so humble, and he is given answer that animals, cow is given a 4 leg and other animals has given 8 legs. Some water animals is given a 14, 15 leg, 16 leg. So Lord Krishna, Srimati Radharani is given a 1 leg to preach all over the world. That is also mercy of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. They give me strength. Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. And Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji also inspiring that attentively japa is very important. Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, Hari Bol, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai.
Jai, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranams to you. How beautifully you summarized yesterday's class by His Grace Amarendra Prabhu. Yes, it's a really wonderful class to hear. The whole 1 hour he spent, that how Gajendra, he's doing, as you all know, that he is doing Gajendra Moksha. So how Gajendra, the elephant, just fixed his mind onto the Supreme Lord and then chanted the prayers. So this word, fixing our mind onto the Lord, he spent the whole hour onto it. Thank you so much, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, for bringing up this point. And especially, as you said, that how when Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he asked a question that, you have a polio and you're not able to walk properly, but still how wonderfully you are preaching. So don't ever you have this thing in your mind that you should get married and get settled. If I were put into your position, I would have certainly taken this decision to get married. This is what Amarendra Prabhu asked. And Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, how wonderfully, as Vrinda Gopika Mataji said, that he quoted, that if Krishna can take care of a 10-legged animal, or a 2-legged animal, or a 4-legged animal, or a 6-legged animal, then why can't he take care of me who is on 1 leg? So this is how his surrender is. that how they see the hand of the Supreme Lord in everything they do. So thank you so much, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Hare Krishna.
With your permission, one more 1 minute point that one person is coming for given a donation to Acharya Giriraj Maharaj. That time Giriraj Maharaj is sitting in one corner and doing japa. So Brahmachari asked them, Maharaj, somebody is coming for given a donation. So Maharaj said, please say them that stay for some hours. Then Brahmachari said, why Maharaj you this answer you are given? So Maharaj is given a more important to japa than taking donation from outside people.
Right. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that too, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for class. Couple things. One is, how would you distinguish between the love of a servant in this world when that servant actually does love, has, let's say, deep affection for his master? How would you distinguish that servant's love from the love of the pure devotee for Krishna? Both are in the mood of service, and both have love for their master.
But the love that for the master that a material mere mortal soul has is at the back of the mind. There is a give and take relationship. No servant in this world, in this material world, how much they love their master, will not work for free. Mm-hmm. If there is no expectation of anything, it's impossible. There is some hidden expectation, there is some hidden agenda, there is some hidden motivation to serve somebody in this material world. So this is the one difference. But when pure devotees, when they see themselves as the servant, then they say, "Oh Krishna," as the last verse of Shikshashtakam says, "Oh Krishna, even if you just embrace me with broken heart, make me broken-hearted by not embracing me or not appearing in front of me, still you will be my worshipable Lord, birth after birth." That's the mood of the devotees. They don't care whether the Krishna will put them into the sorrow situation or the joyful situation. No matter what the situation is, still they want to consider Krishna as their Supreme Lord. On the other hand, this is the first difference. The second difference, if we see onto the side of the master, when takes care of a servant, the master also expects something from the servant. And onto the respect of that, whatever the service that servant is providing, the master grants it. Right? But still, the master doesn't take care 100% of that servant. Can take care with few monetary values, with few sympathy words, through emotional things, but not 100%. But here the Supreme Lord, he is so merciful that he basically sells himself out onto the hands of his pure devotees. He doesn't he doesn't consider himself as the master. Just, when Preeti Vilasni was giving the class on Brihad Bhagavatam, she was narrating that how the gopis, the elderly gopis will tell Krishna, "Go and bring the shoes of Nand Maharaj," and how beautifully he'll carry. Being the master, being the supreme master, he'll just carry the shoes of his servant, Nanda Baba, who is a servant, right? Carry his shoes onto his head and place it in front of Nanda Baba. So there the Krishna is the Supreme Master who takes care of us in every respect. Not just emotionally, not just financially, not just physically, but every aspect of our life is being taken care by the Supreme Lord. It may be palatable to us or it may not be. It may be pleasing to us or it may not be. But the ultimate benefit is what Krishna's plan has. Our plan fails in front of that master. So this is the two way, like from the servant point of view, from the master point of view. In this world, there is, it's a huge difference. Here, there is some motivation, some hidden means, some expectations, but there it's beyond everything. It's just total pure love.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying from the servant's perspective, the love is unconditional, and from Krishna's perspective, it's also unconditional.
Unconditional, yes. Both ways.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. One last question is, you mentioned that Lord Brahma's first question to Krishna was, you are transcendental, so how is it that I'm able to see you, I guess with, my mundane eyes, And so, if you answered that question in the class, I missed it.
Yeah, that's the answer of that whole question. That's the whole class is all about. 1 hour class was on this question only. That Krishna says that it's I who can perceive any form. I can do anything. I can become impersonal for those who want me to perceive as impersonal, or I can become a form if you want to perceive me as a form. I am everything. That's what he answers to Brahma. When Brahma says, oh Lord, you are transcendental, so how come I am perceiving you with the form? So that's what Lord Shri Krishna answered. That it's me only, Brahma. Just think that I have created you. I am a person. I have a form. And it's up to my sweet will, whether depending upon your behavior to me, that I can make you perceive my form, or I don't want to perceive you as, and you can take me as impersonal. But Prabhupada, the whole purport he quotes, that Krishna has a form, and that's why he was present in front of Brahma. Even Shukdev Goswami, just a few verses before, he says when he was so happy, Lord Krishna was so happy by hearing the prayers of Brahmaji, then he basically appeared in front of him and he shook hands with him. So see how personal he is, just as a friend. There was a friendly relationship at that time. He shook hands with Brahmaji. So this is how there is a relationship established, and that relationship can be established only with a person who has a form. With a light, you cannot have that relationship, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think when I asked the question, my mind was focused on Krishna's deity form, the fact that the deity form is made out of material elements, yet at the same time we can see Krishna in that form, even though we're not supposed to be able to see Krishna with our mundane eyes, because he is spiritual. So that was my thinking, trying to understand better how we're able to actually see Krishna in his deity form, even though he is spiritual, yet the deity is material element. So just trying to
see, you yourself answered your question, Mataji. This was the dilemma of Brahma also, that you are transcendental. How come I'm perceiving you in front of my eyes in a form? And you yourself answered that this is how, even the deities, when we see in the temple, to some mundane people, the deities is just either of stone or wood or metal. But to a pure devotee, that's not a material thing. They consider them, it's my Krishna, it's my Srimati Radharani. They are personally present there. Gauranga and Nityananda are personally present in that form. At that time, we don't see that it's metal, it's wood, it's marble, or it's just a painting. But we see that no, they are personally present. So again, it's again the consciousness, right? In the consciousness in which we see something. If we perceive that thing in the right consciousness, in the pure consciousness, in the consciousness of the scriptures, then definitely we'll see that Lord. So somebody really, they ask me, have you seen Krishna? I say, yes, I do have seen Krishna. Rather, I dress Krishna because I do deity dressing, right? So they are non-different. If somebody just tells you that, have you seen Krishna? You should say yes. Why not? We see every day in the temple. So yes, we have seen. But again, like Krishna, when he was personally present in front of Duryodhana couldn't see Krishna the way Krishna is. So yes, thank you. Basically, you brought up this point of deities and how we see in the light of Shastras that yes, they are not ordinary deities. They are not just a metal or a material object. It's Krishna himself.
Actually, when you were speaking, a lecture by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu came back into my mind, discussing this very point. And so he said that it's not that the deity is not metal or stone or wood. It's that it's not just metal or stone or wood. You know, just like a mailbox, right, that's authorized by the federal government. It's not that just because it's authorized by the federal government it's no longer a box. It's still a box, but it's more than that because it's been authorized by the federal government. So similarly, his analogy was that, you know, the deity, it's not that it's not made out of those material elements, but it's not just those material elements because Krishna is present in that form, you know. Or just like the federal government is present as a particular mailbox, you know, whereas if you go to some other box that's not where the federal government is not present, then your letter will not reach its destination.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that point.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anyone else has any question, any comment?
Thank you so much, Kirtida Sundai Mataji, for giving us this class. And this is the first time I am hearing about the Catursloki Bhagavatam, Mataji. And the first point you made it so clear, Mataji. And the examples you have given, the circle, square, and the officer who leaves for temporary time from the office and goes to his family for some kind of what we can say enjoying with their family members. With those two examples, I got it very clear, Mataji, the two basic questions. And the remaining class also very nice, Mataji. And from this class, I got one question, Mataji. That I don't know is this appropriate question for this class or I don't know, but I got this question. We usually call Lord Shiva as topmost Vaishnava. Then why we don't call like Brahma as the topmost Vaishnava, Mataji? Because he is present all the times with the Lord Krishna. So why we cannot call Mataji him as topmost Vaishnava?
Thank you so much, Shama Supriya Mataji, for your lovely and kind, encouraging words. And thank you for your question. As such, I don't have a concrete answer to it except for what Srimad Bhagavatam says, Yathanam Vaishnavanam Sham Shambhu, that yes, Krishna, Lord Shiva is the Supreme Vaishnava. But why don't we call it Brahma as the Supreme Vaishnava? I don't have an answer. Yeah, go ahead, Preeti.
Yeah, so just last week, I don't know, when Adigadadar Prabhu was speaking, he was saying the reason why Shiva is Vaishnava Namyata Shambhu is because we see that Brahma was also bewildered, making offenses. All the demigods, at some point or the other, they make many offenses and they get bewildered. But the only person who never made an offense, although being bewildered, he does get bewildered by Vishnu's Maya, but still one person who would never make an offense to the Lord is Lord Shiva. So that's why he's Vaishnava Namyata Shambhu. I thought that analysis was very interesting because even in the Brihad Bhagavatam, when we see when he goes to meet Lord Shiva says, no, I'm an offender. See, I gave Varnasura boons, all that. But at that time, actually, the previous loka, right, Brahma will say that actually Lord Shiva is very great. In spite of whatever he does, Vishnu never gets angry with him. But in my case, Narsingadev chastised me when he gave boons to Hiranyakashipu. He chastised me saying that you should not give boons like that. But in the case of Lord Shiva, somehow their relationship is that because Shiva never makes an offense. See, Brahma did Brahma Mohan Lila, like that. There are he separated the cowherd boys from the Lord, like that. But Shiva never makes offenses in that sense. So that therefore, among all of them, Lord Shiva is considered as Vaishnava Namyata Shambhu. Like that, I was analyzing. I thought it was very interesting, so I wanted to share that. Thank you, Kirtida Mataji, and also thank you.
Jai. Thank you, Leela and Gopi. Thank you, Kirtida Sundai Mataji. Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much. Preeti Mataji and Kirtida Mataji for enlightening on this very difficult topic, Mataji. You made it very easy and we got the essence, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. And I request anybody have any questions or comments, or do you want share any realizations for Mataji? Okay, Mataji. Okay, once again, I'm thankful to Kirtida Sundai Mataji for coming on the call and enlightening on this Catursloki Bhagavatam. Thank you so much, Kirtida Mataji. So with this, I pay my obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and Kirtida Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindobhyaye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namah. Anantapati Krishna Vrinda ki jai. Namaskar. Thakur ki jai. Chaitanya Chaitanya Pita ki jai. Har Grace Kirtida Sundai Mataji ki jai.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.